All right, it is Photoshop week 10, day 2, and this is a video just for our online learners who are at home using Photopea, Photopea, I don't know what we're going to call it. It's something. My name is Mr. Brown. I am your Principles of Arts AV teacher, and today we're going to be looking at how to use a very crazy, super fun tool called the Liquify tool. So those of you learning at home are actually going to be having a little bit of a different experience than the people who are learning face-to-face and actually getting to use Photoshop. But the tool and the functionality are still there in Photopea, whatever. So we're just going to look at it really briefly. Your assignment today is take the photo I give you, and we're going to make some edits and adjustments using the Liquify tool and see what all we can kind of come up with. So let's go to our computer. Here is Photopea. Ignore these crazy, I'm getting an ad for Ritz crackers down here. That's, I think I'm hungry. All right, let's get to work. All right, so go to File. We're going to open the image that you should have already downloaded. So I'm going to go File, Open, up in the very top. This is the image we're looking for. It's a picture of, I'm going to name this guy Chad. Hi, Chad. He's a nice looking guy, but we need to make a few improvements to our old pal Chad. So we're going to open this image of Chad. I'm going to hit choose, and it's going to load. So here we go. Here's our image of Chad, and the tool we're going to be using today is called the Liquify tool, and it's actually under the filter. Liquify tool is one of these tools that is overused, probably more than it's underused. Underused, or used correctly actually, it is an amazing tool. You can do so much with it. Overused, you're going to get made fun of on the internet for the rest of your life. Every Photoshop fail half of the Photoshop fails you've probably ever seen involve the Liquify tool. So let's see how to use it. And today we are going to try to be the most absurd we can be, just so we can play around with the tool and see what it does. But in the future, we're going to try to use it more conservatively so that we can augment and enhance our photographs and get the desired results. So let's go back to our Photopea. I'm never going to figure out what this is called. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to duplicate this layer. So I'm going to right click and duplicate the layer. And so now I have a background and a background copy. And this helps because we may be bending some pixels, and it'll kind of help to have that background there so we don't have a transparency. With our top layer selected, our copy layer, I'm going to go to Filter, and I'm going to go to Liquify. And oh man, did it zoom in. So we're going to back up. And essentially what this has done is it's opened a new window, our pop-up for us. Now, where you guys are missing out here is on Photoshop. They have added these face-aware features that will automatically make adjustments to areas of the face. That doesn't exist in Photopea. So you just have to do it manually. And so we're just going to play around with some of these settings and these tools today, and we're going to figure out how to make some adjustments, some creative adjustments to our old pal Chad here. So the very first tool I want us to look at is, look over here on your left-hand side. I don't even know what side is what today. And we're going to go, they call it blow. So it's called bloat everywhere else, but we're going to use the blow tool. And I'm going to increase the size of my brush by hitting the right or left bracket, or you can come up here to size. And we're just going to make his eyes a little bit bigger. So I'm going to get it really big, and I'm just going to click and hold. And you can, mine is zooming in randomly, but you can see that his eye is getting bigger. I'm going to shrink mine by hitting Control minus. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to click and hold. There we go. And his eyes are getting bigger, and you can make them as big as you want. If you click and hold, it just kind of blows it up where you're holding, but you can also drag it, and it does a somewhat of a distortion or a warp to it. Let's kind of make his mouth a little bit bigger. So we're gonna poof these lips up. So I'm gonna I'm just going to drag, and my computer is a little bit laggy. Yours may be too. This is a pretty intensive kind of effect, but I'm just dragging back and forth while holding the mouse button down on his lips. And that's pretty decent. I'm going to leave it like that. We've also got it's called the pucker tool on Photoshop. Here it's just called shrink. So we're going to switch to the shrink tool, and we're going to shrink down Chad's ears just a little bit. So I'm going to click, hold, and drag down his ears. And it is a very slow responding effect in Photopea, but it still does work. It's just not as responsive as it is in Photoshop. So you can see that he's kind of shrinking. His ear is definitely smaller. We're going to do the same thing to this other side. We're just going to shrink Chad's ear here. And it's just moving really slow. And that's probably because this is an older iMac and things just run slower on it. I also want to kind of, let's smoothen. They've really come up with some great names here. These are fantastic. This is push left. And so you can see that you can really make some changes to the guy's face here. We just smushed his nose down, which is a great look for Chad here. Let's see if we can adjust his chin a little bit. I'm going to click and push up, which I might have gone too much. Let's try that again. And I'm just going to push his chin up. See if I can push this side of his chin up. Nope, I'm pulling that side of his chin down. Oh, I think I might have messed Chad's chin. I'm sorry, it just cracks me up. It's just really funny. So I'm going to redo that, and we're going to try that again. I'm going to start over here, and we're just going to raise his chin up. That's definitely too much. You can tell that I've really messed the pixels up here. So I'm going to shrink my brush. We're going to do it just a little bit along the chin line. Oh man, I really, this tool is crazy powerful. This tool is really OP, honestly. It's just super OP. It's just like completely smushing and redefining everything. So be careful with the push left tool. You can kind of see the basics of what I'm doing, but you have to be super, super careful. As you can see, it's really distorted the pixels underneath his chin. Like, they look terrible. But it works better over here on the side of his face. So we can just kind of smoothen up that side, and we'll just shrink this side over here. Yeah, that was... I don't know what I've done here. This is awful. This is definitely a much more difficult tool to use than the Liquify tool in Photoshop. But it does kind of give you an idea for what you're supposed to be doing. So let's look at a couple other tools, and we're going to be done for the day. Over here we have, it's not working. This is these are smooth and reconstruct and smudge. I'll let you guys kind of play with those. The other big one that you can kind of adjust a little is the swirl tool, and it will, well, it's supposed to swirl. It's not actually doing anything. So yeah, it's not doing anything. I don't know, it might have done something. Let's try it on his eye. Yeah, if you pull down on it, if you pull down on it, it kind of does a thing. Mine is really spazzing out. Okay, so you have to click it and move it, and it'll just rotate it for you. It's not liking my magic mouse at all. So yeah, there we go. It's swirling. So your assignment today is to take this image of Chad, play around with it, and be creative. See what you can do. You are at a disadvantage because you're using this online version of Photoshop, Photopea. And it's a little bit more difficult. The results are not as exact. And on a Chromebook, it's going to run kind of slow. So just do what you can do. And then we're going to submit it. To turn it in, when you're done, you're just going to come over here and hit OK. And okay. Oh no, I opened something. Are we going to Chile? Maybe. I think that's an ad. So I hit OK, and you can kind of see, if you turn the layers off, the changes that I made. And it's, I mean, it looks pretty gross and distorted right now. It's grotesque. Poor Chad, bless his heart. But it gives you an idea of how the tool works. I honestly think probably my best, most subtle edit is here on the nose. It almost looks like that's just kind of the way his nose is. Of course, his eyes look ridiculous. His ears aren't bad, and his lips aren't terrible. And this right here is an abomination. That's just the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. So, all right, when you're done, you go to File, Export as JPEG, turn that in on Google Classroom, and you are done for the day. Tomorrow, we're going to be trying to use the Liquify tool to do some creative work. But that is the gist of how things are going to work using Liquify. Please email me at william.brown if you have any problems or issues, and I'll be glad to try to help you guys out. Thanks so much. Have a great day, and I'll talk with you soon. Bye.